Hello, my name is Andrew Vondenhoevel, and today I want to dig deep into this or penetrate further into what has been said for thousands of years by countless people, but I don't know if we've really, and they've got into the depths of things, and but I want people to know that it is getting into the common folk, that it's becoming more established into people, and and that is the saying that the time is now. And what that means is, whenever you hear that statement, that he's not talking about the time is, I'm not talking about the time is now 10 seconds ago when I said it. I'm saying the time is now, period. When you hear this 6 months from now, if somebody comes across this video 6 months from now, the time is now, it'll still be just as effective and prominent then as it is now. Because the truth is what is, and it stands on its own. It'll always be here regardless. 1,000 years ago, when somebody said the time is now, to the present day, the present moment. So what that does is brings us into a reality. That means that our unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, property. We are allowed to have property, regardless of what type of government has infiltrated the minds, the collective mind of whatever territory that they've set up to be a specific name, whatever they want to call it, from Ohio to Florida, from Brazil to Italy. It doesn't matter. These things are just, they're subjects, really, because they can change, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you call what, as long as people have a common understanding of that you're human beings and you all have these inalienable rights to the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, regardless of where you're at. Now, you can choose to forfeit those rights, and you can be a privileged citizen if you wish to. But you being a privileged citizen does not give you any right to infringe on a lawful person's right. A lawful, meaning that they're of common law, they're of God, like kind of like common sense. The common sense is stating that everyone has these rights. Now, we have come to misunderstandings that these governments get to dictate what rights, which they aren't, they're privileges, if you even want to call them that, because hell, you can't even own your house here. You're kind of considered tenants instead of freeholders. And it really gets into magic, if you want to call it that, because all these terms and sentences and spells are all mind control tactics to get you to think less of yourself, to doubt yourself, to think that you're not capable of owning land. Now, owning this land is kind of a permanent basis, but you can't really own it. That's why I said you're kind of you aren't kind of, you are the freeholders of this property. That's your pursuit to happiness and liberty, freedom. You're a freeholder. You're capable of maintaining a piece of property to live off of and do whatever you want to do as long as you aren't infringing on someone else's rights or stealing or causing harm to any other sentient being. So when we get into that, I want to get into law enforcement. Or it's not, I'm sorry, not law enforcement. Because we as people are the law enforcers. We are to take common law and not dictate it, but I can't find the word for it. But we are supposed to be enforcing common law through morality. And these police enforcement agencies, and that's what they are. They're statutes. They enforce statutes. They aren't law like speeding. Common sense, and even doing it or having the ability to do a 65 and a 55, that's common sense that this vehicle or automobile is capable of going whatever speed I wish to operate it at. And I'm not by any means saying that it's appropriate to take a turn that is a suggested speed of 20 at 65. You reap what you sow in that point, in that essence. But how I was saying that more people are coming to the understandings of these common practices of people's rights and unalienable rights. But where it needs to get to is the policy enforcers, the people that are out there infringing on people's rights. And, we are Americans. We are free. We're not supposed to. We have the right to stand up to the tyrants that are infringing on those rights. Now, it gets, and these police officers need to understand that they are putting themselves in harm's way. So they are reaping what they sow. And they are the ones that are putting themselves in harm's way, or they're commanding officers, they're whatever, and they should know that the growing number of people coming to the understandings of these, and they should know that any vehicle or any automobile that they infringe upon, stop people's right to travel, that they have to have a reasonable cause, and they should have an affidavit of proof of harm that's been committed against another sentient being, or theft or vandalism or something, to be able to stop the lawful person that is doing his common rights as to travel. And that police officer should know that he is engaging in business, international trade, and he is setting himself up for financial harm. I'm not talking about physical harm when he comes to the window and asks you for your license and registration. No, that's my property. I have the right to give it to you or not give it to you. I have the right to engage business with you. I have no right, and you have no right to take it any further than that. If you have proof of physical harm that's been done to someone, then by all means stop them and see if they fit a description. And whatever, I'm not a judge or to say to enforce anything. You have the courage to do that, to stop somebody, then you should fully know what you're getting into. And that's what I'm stating here, is that when you come to someone's window, you need to put aside everything that's been indoctrinated into you about what your rights are, and you need to know that you should give people the understanding or the ability to understand what you're actually doing with their property and why you are infringing upon them, to make a contract valid. Because this implied express contracts, a lot of people don't understand this, but there are becoming more understanding, because this this police officer is being ignorant of the common law. And sometimes they enforce these. We have the right to enforce our common law practices too, and they should know that these people of the common law are willing to defend themselves financially and whatever means, really. And I am a peaceful man, and I don't condone violence, but I do condone people sticking up for themselves and protecting their rights. And regardless of what a government, a entity that isn't a human being or a lawful person is telling them what they should be enforcing and dictating other persons how they need to conduct their business, is ultimately an infringement. And you are actually defying what it means to be a free American that is allowed to have rights. And I'm not going to go any further, because we just really need to come to these understandings, and other people of this world need to come to the understandings too, that you have the right to stand up to these people, because ultimately they're your employees. You're not an employee to them. And if you have the right to leave this government, because this government has ultimately made its way, and by government I mean a mind control, a culture of infringement, and they've brainwashed other people or other persons into believing their indoctrinations. And this is kind of the sheep sheeping the sheep, if you want to go there. And all I'm saying is that people need to start understanding that they are people with rights. And these police officers or government agencies, militaries, politicians, they have no place in your government. You get to establish your government. That's your mind control. And as long as you are not infringing on other people's rights, causing harm, vandalizing, stealing, any of that, fair trade, take possession of yours. What is lawfully yours, and that is what you are in possession of. Your automobiles, your boats, your property that you live on, whether you rent or lease or wherever your domicile, wherever you are at resident, wherever you live, which I live inside my body, and I have a place of stay that I am a freeholder of. Now, a bank may own a piece of paper, but that piece of paper is not the property. You are on land and soil. That piece of paper is in air, thought, and water. And these pirates have confiscated all this land by contemplation, by these maritime statutes that don't exist, only in a government, only in a mind control tactics that we have all fallen victim for. We've all fallen for it. I'm just coming to the realization of the depths of how it's been done, and I am expressing it the best way I know how to, going through some steps and common knowledge that should be expressed by all. That everyone should know these things and shouldn't be ignorant of. Ignorance is no excuse for not knowing the law, and this goes for the policy enforcement officers as much as it goes for anyone else. Any other person, any other lawful person, they need to know their rights. Because if you don't, other people, tyrants, and I'm saying tyrants, are going to try to control that mind, your mind, into thinking that their mind is right, regardless of how wrong it is. Alright, there's some food for thought, and really, please share this. This common knowledge needs to be common to people. And these 26 people that I'm talking to, you already know this stuff. And we need to start getting out there and in touch with more people. I'm limited right now until we can really start establishing ownership of our property. Intellectual property such as our names, which my name is copyright, and that anyone or anything, any entity that is using that name is infringing on my rights of property. And I have the right to act upon that. Which, in this day and age, it's a financial action. I have the right to defend that property and claim ownership to and enforce. And this is even through their legal system that they've set up through the UCC. And that process, there's American States Assembly. They seem to be on the right track as far as establishing these things. I went through the Cracking the Code 3rd edition way, and all sorts of books that I've read to find out not so much who I am, but what I am. Who I am is a personal matter, and I have things to overcome and trials and tribulations that I need to face and be strong about that I haven't done yet. But these processes will show you that these entities, these governments, these corporations are infiltrating your minds. And people think I'm crazy when I talk like this, but you will never fully grasp the totality of what I am saying unless you do your own due diligence, do your own research, and read through these processes. Read through the treaties. Read through what types of statutes these governments, these mind control tactics have done to get in the positions that they're at, how they've stolen the common mind and manipulated it. They can manipulate you, they cannot manipulate natural law. But they can trick you into thinking what is law and what isn't. Alright, there's some food for thought in this. Please share this. I'm not even going to tell you to like and subscribe or anything along those lines because you're free to do whatever you want. But I'm saying that what I just said is probably some of the most profound things that need to be shared with common people that need to understand their rights and what they are allowed to, how they're allowed to establish themselves legally and lawfully. So I love y'all, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.